Nothing is quite the same as going to export your videos and realizing your entire fucking intro did not record. So yeah. Hi guys. This video is going to be a one chapter unhaul. So basically what I'm going to be doing is reading one chapter out of these 6 books that I've selected that have been on my shelves for a really long time. I just haven't gotten to them, and I'm going to decide if I still want to get to them based on the one chapter. That's the goal, okay? I did see this video done by another booktuber. I don't know if it's her original concept or not, but anyways, where I saw it is Jashana. I will link her video and her channel down below. I really recommend you check her channel out, honestly. I really love her videos. She's fucking hilarious. She cracks me up all the time. And honestly, you can really just trust her for her honest opinion on books that she reads, which is always what we're looking for. Anyways, without further ado, let's just get right into it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna get into it. I have 6 here today, and yeah. So the first book I have here is the first book in the Falling Kingdom series by Morgan Rhodes. I own this entire series. I bought them used when I worked at the used bookstore, super cheap. And I know this is a really loved series. It's just, it's been out for so long. And I feel like the reason a lot of people on BookTube love this series is partially due to nostalgia. So I'm gonna read the first chapter in this and kind of decide if I wanna read that series or if I'm gonna unhaul all of them. And then I also have the Novice. And this is the first book in the Battle Mage, I think, series. Yeah, this is the first book in the Battle Mage series. Yeah, so the Novice. I'm gonna read the first chapter in this one and decide what I want to do. So the Novice follows our main character, who is an apprentice to the blacksmith. And he discovers he has the rare ability to summon demons from another world. And then it kind of sounds like it goes into a, like, school setting, it sounds like, because he's being trained how to, like, use this power to be a battle mage and fight in the Empire's war against the orcs. And then I have Unwind by Neil Shusterman, another one. I think I own like the first 3, but this is an older series again. Yeah, I should read the synopsis instead of just being like, this is an older book. So this one is a dystopian, because if you don't know, that's what Neil Shusterman writes. This is one of his older series, I think like maybe his second one he wrote. In this story, children cannot be aborted, basically, from the time of conception until the age of 13, when their parents can decide whether or not they want to have them unwound, which basically is murdered and their body parts transplanted into other people. So they believe that technically they're not dead if their whole body is transplanted into other people. Yeah, so that's this. I think this sounds really interesting still. It's just, you know, I have a lot of things to get to, so I don't know if I'm going to prioritize this. We'll see how I feel about it after I've read the first chapter. Fourthly, I have Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Now, I know people either liked this or really didn't like it. Is it like kind of like a Beauty and the Beast retelling? I think, but like with a dragon, essentially. Yeah, our main character is like given to this dragon, because that's what they do to like keep him protecting them. They give a young woman away every, I think, like 10 years or something. Yeah, so I don't know. I think a lot of people don't like the the main romance in this, and I'm just interested to see how this goes. I have read the His Majesty's Dragon series by Naomi Novik. I loved the first book and did not like the subsequent books. I think I read through the 3rd book before I gave it up. And because of that experience, I've been a little hesitant, honestly, to pick up the rest of her books. But I do have this one. I think I own Spinning Silver as well, which I think people loved a lot more than this one. yeah, so I'm gonna give this one a shot. We'll see how it goes. And then I have Ink and Bone, part of the Great Library series by Rachel Kane. I think there's like 4, maybe 5 books in this series. And this I know is about the Library of Alexandria. It actually exists in this story, and it sounds like it's kind of like book smugglers. Yeah, so it's illegal for people to own like books, and the main characters are involved in some kind of book smuggling thing. So this definitely sounds pretty interesting to me. I do have like a personal interest in like learning about the nuances of censorship and like librarianship and that type of thing. So this definitely sounds like it'll be really cool to read. I'm really hoping that I like this one, and hopefully reading the first chapter is going to be the spark I need to prioritize it sooner, because it's been on my shelves for like maybe 2 years now. And last but not least, I have The History of Bees by Lund, I'm gonna say. Yeah, The History of Bees. Now this is a fiction book. I think it's literary fiction. Basically following 3 timelines, all centered around bees, and the progressive extinction of bees, it sounds like. And how that impacts a world. It's basically sounds like this is maybe like a post-apocalyptic world or futuristic world where bees don't exist, and how that would impact people on a environmental level and also on like an interpersonal level, it sounds like. This is really interesting sounding. I picked this up a long time ago. I think, let's see, it was published in 2015. Yep. But it sounds like it might be yes, so it's a translated work. Yeah, published in 2015, so I've probably had it just about that long. I am excited to read this. I do like this type of book. I think the reason I ended up picking this up originally was because it says it's in the spirit of Station 11, which is a really great book, and I love it a lot. And one of my favorite stories, Good Morning Midnight, is kind of in the same realm. Like, it was compared to Station 11 as well. So this, I'm excited to read. I hope I like it. I really need to stop putting it off. And again, like the others, I'm kind of hoping that reading the first chapter gets me reinterested in this story enough to pick it up sooner rather than later. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and read those chapters, and I will check in with you guys afterward and tell you what came of it. I am back here to give you an update on the reading and how it went. So we're just going to go in reverse because it's convenient, because that's how they're stacked. The History of Bees, I have decided I'm going to keep it. It's really cool. I definitely so far like the timeline that takes place in 2098. It's really where the book opens up. I only had to read like 3 pages of this book before I decided, yeah, I'm going to keep this, and I'm probably going to read it soon because I really like the way it's written. I like the ethereal voice, and yeah. So far, so good. I'm excited to keep reading this one. Hopefully I can keep it in mind and get to it pretty soon. Ink and Bone, I decided I'm also keeping this one. This, so far in the first chapter, is interesting enough for me to justify keeping it. I am curious because I think it is rather a long series. People like it, so whatever, we're gonna give it a chance. I like the first chapter. I definitely like the concept. It sounds interesting. Honestly, this one, I didn't need to be sold super hard on this. I have had it a long time, which is why I included it here. Because I tried to pick ones that have been on my shelves over a year at least, and that some of them were series, so that in case I wanted to not keep them, I could take an entire series off my shelf and free up some space. I also need books to trade in, so this is where we're at. This one, I have decided I'm going to keep it. I'm going to read this book, and we'll see. If I don't like the first one, you know, if it's just okay, I'm probably going to DNF the series. I'll be real with you, because I don't know if I have the energy to commit to a series that is on the older side, when there's so much new stuff coming out. So that's where we're at. Let's see here. Uprooted, I have decided to give this a shot. This one, it was okay in the first chapter. Like, I do like the way she writes, so we'll see. But this, I'm cautiously optimistic about this book. I may end up hating it. You never know. I could get halfway into it, and it is a real possibility that I will DNF this book. So we'll see. But for now, I'm going to keep it. I am going to give it a shot, more than one chapter. Yeah, I just find, I mean, so when people complain about the romance, it's hit or miss with me, because a lot of the time people complain about something in like a fantasy romance, or, you know, a fantasy with a romance interest, which is a lot of them. And they just won't like the pairing, and that's okay. A lot of the time, I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to shipping two characters. So that's why I'm like, I'll probably like this enough to at least try it out. So we're gonna do that. And the last one, let me sneak these over here. The last one that I have decided to keep, and I actually read the first chapter and then continued reading this, so this is what I'm currently reading, is Unwind by Neal Shusterman. This gripped me from the get-go. I read not only the first chapter, but to chapter 9. So I am already in 53 pages deep in this book. I'm probably gonna knock this out like over the weekend, to be honest. Really just, you dive right in to the plot from the beginning. I shouldn't be surprised, because Scythe is a great series. It did have its issues, but overall I really liked it. So I shouldn't be shocked, but this one is a keeper. I'm going to read the first book. Hopefully it's good enough that I continue, because I think I own like the first 2 or 3 of this. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm again reading this right now, so it was good enough for me to not only keep it, but to get to it right now. Now, I decided to do away with 2 of them, and honestly you couldn't tell which ones they are because I haven't talked about them yet. Fallen Kingdoms, I read 2 or 3 pages in, and honestly, I'm sure the plot is great. It's a very big series, and it's very loved. It definitely reads like something written in, what was it? I think it was written in 2012 or 2015. 2012, yeah, so that's when it was published, in 2012. It definitely reads like something like YA fantasy written in 2012. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just a little dated. And to be honest, and this is just a personal preference, I did not like the ethereal voice in this one. It's really confusing. Honestly, I cannot commit myself to reading another series where there's like 6 or 7 books of YA fantasy where there's a huge cast. And there's a large cast of characters in this, and you really are just like thrown right in. And yeah, there's like a glossary and stuff. It's too much. It's too much for me. So I am going to unhaul this and the rest of the books in this series and just kind of say Morgan Rhodes is maybe not for me. Yeah, it's too bad, but I kind of figured this one was coming, because I've had it over a year. I haven't even started the series, and over time I just lost interest with the series, so just is the way it is. And the other one is The Novice. Now this one I was on the fence about. This is the first one I picked up to read. I do find the world really interesting. I'll just be completely honest and say that a school setting, a like learning young adult, like I'm learning my magic kind of setting and plot is not always a hit with me. I'm sure it's great. The characters, especially right from the get-go, are really interesting. I do find the concept of him being like able to summon a demon and it's like his buddy. Like it's not like a random demon. It's like a demon that is his companion, it sounds like. And orcs. Honestly, you never see orcs in young adult fantasy. Ultimately, I just decided that the like learning camp school setting thing is not really something I have the energy or the time to entertain right now, I think is the reality. I'm gonna continue reading this because I am sucked in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I have to give credit where credit is due. I did see this video from Shoshana, and I'm gonna go ahead and link her video below here. I hope you check it out. Honestly, this concept is really cool. I personally think this is a great way to unhaul books without, like for me, personally, I impulse buy, especially when they're used books. Especially if I've heard good things on BookTube. If they cost me a couple bucks at the used bookstore, I will impulse buy them and be like, I'll figure it out later if I really wanted it or not. Because if it was just on my radar, you know, what is $2? So this is a great way for me to go through some of those that I bought steeply discounted and decide if I really have the time to dedicate to reading them without just pulling them off my shelf and saying no, because I have a hard time with that. If I haven't even tried, I have a hard time giving it up. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.